Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Depending on where you are in this crazy world of ours, God bless you. This is Gloria White coming to you from Utah, USA. Today we are continuing in the New Jerusalem Holy Bible, and we are in 1 Kings and chapter 4. Solomon's High Officials. King Solomon was king of all Israel, and these were his high officials: Azariah, son of Zadok, priest; Elihaphat and Ahijah, sons of Shisha, secretaries; Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, herald; Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, commander of the army; Zadok and Abiathar, priest; Azariah, son of Nathan, chief administrator; Zabud, son of Nathan, friend of the king; Ahishar, master of the palace; Eliab, son of Joab, commander of the army; Adoram, son of Abda, in charge of forced labor. Solomon's administrators. Solomon had 12 administrators for all Israel, who saw to the provisioning of the king and his household. Each had to provide for 1 month in the year. These are their names: son of Hur, in the mountain country of Ephraim; son of Dikar, in Makaz; Shaalbim, Beth Shemesh; Ajalon, Beth Hanan; son of Hesdah, in Aruboth. His district was Sokoth, and the whole territory of Hepher; son of Abinadab, all the slopes of Dor; Tabbath, Solomon's daughter, was his wife; Baanan, son of Ahilud, in Tanach and Megiddo, as far as the other side of Jokmeam; and all Beth Shean below Jezreel, from Beth Shean as far as Abel Meloah by Zarethan; son of Geber, in Ramoth Gilead. His district was the encampments of Jair, son of Manasseh, which are in Gilead. He had the region of Argob, which is in Bashan, 60 fortified towns, walled and with bolts of bronze. Ahinadab, son of Iddo, in Menhanaim; Ahimaaz, in Naphtali. He too married a daughter of Solomon, Bathshemath; Bananah, son of Hushah, in Asher and in the highlands; Jehoshaphat, son of Paruah, in Issachar; Shemiah, son of Elah, in Benjamin; Geber, son of Uri, in the territory of Gad; the territory of Shiloh, king of the Amorites, and of Og, king of Bashan. In addition, there was 1 administrator in the country. These administrators provided the food for Solomon and for all those who were admitted by him to the royal table, each for the period of a month. They ensured that nothing was wanting. They also provided barley and straw for the horses and draw for the animals. The horses and draught animals were required, each according to the quota demanded of him. The daily provisions for Solomon were 30 measures of fine flour and 60 measures of meal, 10 fattened oxen, 20 free grazing oxen, 100 sheep, besides deer and gazelles, roebucks and fattened poultry. For he was master of all Trans-Euphrates, of all the kings of Trans-Euphrates, from Tifashah to Gaza, and he enjoyed peace of all his frontiers, on all his frontiers. Judah and Israel lived in security, everyone under his vine and his fig tree, from Dan to Beersheba, throughout the lifetime of Solomon. Judah and Israel were numerous as the sand on the seashore. They ate and drank and were happy. Solomon was overlord of all the kingdoms from the river to the territory of the Philistines and the Egyptian border. They brought tribute and served him all his life long. And Solomon had 4,000 stalls of horses for his chariots and 12,000 cavalrymen. Solomon's fame. God gave Solomon immense wisdom and understanding, and a heart as vast as the sand on the seashore. The wisdom of Solomon surpassed the wisdom of all the sons of the east and all the wisdom of Egypt. He was wiser than anyone else, wiser than Ethan the Ezrahite, than the sons of Mahol, Heman, Calcol, and Darda. His fame spread to all the surrounding nations. He composed 3,000 proverbs, and his songs numbered 1,005. He could discourse on plants from the cedar in Lebanon to the hyssop growing on the wall. And he could discourse on animals and birds and reptiles and fish. Men from all nations came to hear Solomon's wisdom, and he received gifts from all the kings in the world who had heard his wisdom. Solomon the builder. Preparations for building the temple. Hiram, king of Tyre, sent an embassy to Solomon, having learnt that he had been anointed king in succession to his father, and because Hiram had always been a friend of David. And Solomon sent this message to Hiram: "You are aware that my father David was unable to build a temple for the name of Yahweh his God, on account of the wars waged on him on every side, until Yahweh put his enemies under the soles of his feet. But now Yahweh my God has given me peace on every side, not one enemy, no calamities. I propose then to build a temple for the name of Yahweh my God, in accordance with what Yahweh told my father. Your son, whom I shall place on your throne to succeed you, will be the man to build a temple for my name. So now have cedars of Lebanon cut down for me. My servants will work with your servants, and I shall pay the hire of your servants at whatever rate you fix. As you know, we have no one as skilled in felling trees as the Sidonians." When Hiram heard what Solomon had said, he was delighted. "Now blessed be Yahweh," he said, "who has given David a wise son to rule over his great people." And Hiram sent word to Solomon: "I have received your message. For my part, I shall supply you with all you require in the way of cedar wood and juniper. Your servants will bring these down from Lebanon to the sea, and I shall have them towed by sea to any place you name. I shall discharge them there, and you will take them over. For your part, you will see to the provisioning of my household as I desire." So Hiram provided Solomon with all the cedar wood and juniper he wanted, while Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 kor of wheat to feed his household, and 20,000 kor of pure oil. Solomon gave Hiram every year. Yahweh gave Solomon wisdom as he promised him. Good relations persisted between Solomon and Hiram, and the two of them concluded a treaty. King Solomon raised a levy throughout Israel for forced labor. The levy numbered 30,000 men. He sent these to Lebanon in relays, 10,000 a month. They spent 1 month in Lebanon and 2 months at home. Adoram was in charge of the forced labor. Solomon also had 70,000 porters and 80,000 quarrymen in the mountains, as well as the administrators, officials who supervised the work. 3,300 of them in charge of the men employed in the work. At the king's order, they quarried huge stones, special stones for the laying of the temple foundations, dressed stones. Solomon's workmen and Hiram's workmen and the Gibeonites cut and assembled the wood and stone for the building of the temple. The temple building. In the 480th year after the Israelites came out of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Ziv, which is the 2nd month, he began building the temple of Yahweh. The temple which King Solomon built for Yahweh was 60 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 25 high. The portico in front of the hekal of the temple was 20 cubits long across the width of the temple, and 10 cubits wide along the length of the temple. He made windows for the temples with frames and lattice work. He also built an annex against the temple wall, right around the hekal and debir. He built lateral stories all around. The lowest lateral story was 5 cubits wide, the middle one 6 cubits, and the third 7 cubits, for he had made the outside of the temple wall correspondingly stepped back all around, so that the annex was not attached to the temple walls. The building of the temple was done with quarried dressed stone. No sound of hammer or pick or any iron tool was to be heard in the temple while it was being built. The entrance to the lowest story was at the right-hand corner of the temple. Access to the middle story was by a spiral staircase, and so from the middle story to the third. Having finished building the temple, he roofed the temple with a coffered ceiling of cedar wood. Round the outside of the temple, he then built the annex, which was 5 cubits high, and was joined to the temple by cedar wood beams. And the word of Yahweh came to Solomon: "With regard to this temple, which you are now building, if you follow my statutes and obey my ordinances, and faithfully follow my commandments, I shall fulfill the promise which I made you to your father David, and I shall make my home among the Israelites and never forsake Israel my people." Solomon finished building the temple. Interior furnishings. The Holy of Holies. He lined the inside of the temple walls with panels of cedar wood, paneling them on the inside from the door of the temple to the beams of the ceiling, and laid the floor of the temple with juniper planks. The 20 cubits measured from the end of the temple he built of cedar planks from the door to the beams, and this part was reserved as the debir, the Holy of Holies. The temple measured 40 cubits. The Hekal in front of the Dibur. There was cedar wood round the inside of the temple, ornamentally carved with gourds and rosettes. All was cedar wood, with no stone showing. In the inner part of the temple he designed a Dibur, to contain the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh. The Dibur was 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 20 high, and he overlaid it on the inside with pure gold. He made an altar of cedar wood in the front of the Dibur and overlaid it with gold. He overlaid the whole temple with gold, the whole temple entirely. Wow. How magnificent. You know, when you read Revelations and it says the streets are paved with gold. I heard someone say today, it's not literally gold. We shall see. And as always, I love you.